Oh boy. Destiny Bros. No. So, while there's people like who, doing all the dunking they can on Destiny, I watched a video where somebody was discussing, like, especially I guess he did some kind of stream after all the hullabaloo, and this guy was getting into like what is he saying, this, that, and the other. And so it just starts to. One of the saddest parts is that he's 35. That this had to happen to him at a stage that it's like there's a certain level of wisdom that you come to in your 30s. There's a level of research and knowledge. Destiny doesn't really get that one of the key reasons he comes across as younger than he is, but not really in the good way. Almost as if he had his growth stunted by whatever, and now I'm finding out all sorts of psychiatric drugs, as so many people. Now, I don't know shit about psychiatric drugs. Like, seriously, I don't know fuck all about, like, people bring stuff up. I don't know what they're talking about. I didn't take that. I was a weird kid. My father just accepted you. Wow, that's weird. But, but a lot of people, their mothers put them on drugs. And so now I'm like sitting back. There's three things I was watching that now they're all kind of merging in my mind around drugs and poison. As you all know, that, or some of you know, that a long time ago I did this video, drugs and poison. And one of the things about the boomers that this can never be forgiven, it can't be forgiven or forgotten, is the complacency about putting specifically their sons on lots of drugs. The medical industry is another this solidly falls in the realm of the boomers of their industry. This comes out of the end of their industry that has a lot of experience, a lot of money, institutional money. They can manufacture the drugs. They could come up with the protocols for their administration, all that stuff. So that's the older end of the medical industry. So that's definitely indict the boomers on this one. And so now with tranny drugs and making sure to tranny up boys, and that's like considered this sort of height of good things. And now there was a video that I was watching that was about Pornhub and the ALO company, and that they're like, no, we need normal straight men to start watching all the various forms of content. So the most important thing for them is to try to direct young men before they, or just as they start entering the most primary period of puberty, to start them down the road of watching porn for the rest of their lives, similar to smoking. And key to this is the most depraved as possible. So there's just no way around now that there's this whole portion of the adult population that what the sexual liberation movement did, what the cultural or the psychologizing, making everything psychological pathology, that now it just seems to be just so you could talk women into drugging their kids so that their kids will act, I guess, quote unquote normal, which really I think what it is that the kids will just simply not reject their mother's bad modernist ideas, or that their kid will not make them feel dumb. But they'll be, yeah, and that they'll be obedient. And I've run into the whole thing of that that behavior drugs, they shrink young men, that these are young men that are always bizarrely small. They look weird when they're full grown adults. And you don't, you end up finding out, like, wait, what? You take what? And that and it's not until they kick it that everything about their lives changes. And they don't, I'm thinking for a lot of them, they don't know really what to do about, because this is something that so many mothers have gone along with. It just obviously is something that it's just the idea of being drugged up all the time, that this is something that apparently is just not a weird idea to many, many, many women in Western civilization. I'm not sure if Europe allows for you to pump your kids up on psychiatric drugs as much as the United States. I'm doubting in South America you're allowed to pump your kid up full of fucking drugs as much as we do here. But then there's this, that's why we also, so they closed the emergency room here, the hospital, the hospital that was here in Eugene, Oregon, had to shut down. And so one of the things that's gone along with this is there's no more emergency room. I think the only one is in Springfield. So it's going to be about, not exactly 10 minutes, but that's what you should expect, about 10 minutes down the road. And, but there is no fundamentally emergency room that's in what would be the center of the city any longer. So what did they ask what were they saying at the city council meeting? People are standing up and making speeches. This the nurse of nurses who teaches all the nurses, laments how it's going to affect the unhoused and how it's going to affect the mentally ill. That's who we have to really worry about. Then, like, people from some community services group or something. Those of us who are most vulnerable, the mentally ill. Not the elderly. Not that children are who are injured the most in household accidents. No. It's because, and I think we get the whole story through this. It is because of how much you have to deal with mentals in the Northwest and in a place like Eugene, Oregon. Like that, there's just mentals all over the place, getting themselves fucked up, and you keep having to do things for them. And it's like, well, if we don't have services for the mentals, what are they going to do? I guess they're going to start dying more on your streets. Period. I mean, that's my guess. Why are they doing things that they would die from? I mean, like, that's then the next question. See, most people in our species would say, what are they doing that makes them die in the streets? Why do you need these some place for them to go? Like, what do you mean the emergency medical center? And they would go, oh, well, no, it's that we have so many mental people, we are so tolerant of them doing whatever they like, whenever they like, that they frequently get hurt or hurt themselves or overdose on the wide variety of drugs that we allow them to take that will kill them if taken just on the wrong day in the wrong dose. It's completely arbitrary if it's going to kill you or not that day. So, oh yeah, there's the geese. I'm up for the geese, haha. And so, I'm just like, really just sitting back, like, this tells you everything you need to understand. In the Northwest, Eugene Northwest and all that, this is feminism. This is feminism itself. Western Oregon is feminism, and that's why, like Idaho and all these parts of Oregon, they're getting away. They're trying to get away from these fucking crazy hoes. They're like, bitch, you are crazy, and they're trying. They're like, I just know, I just want out. And then they're like, you can't leave me. You can't leave me. You owe me. Do you know how much I've done for you? That's actually how a lot of people here really think. You really think like, do you know how much Western Oregon has done for the rest of you? I swear to God, those of you who live in Oregon, you'll be like, God damn it. God damn it. Like, do you know how many pubs and breweries we built? Do you know how many tourist towns that we have that people only visit during a very short window of the summer? Do you know how much we have rooted for teams that really, I guess, are rather inconsequential to sports or life or anything? You know, we rooted really hard for them. We drive into town with our logo of some sports team. There's a black man's name on the jersey my wife is wearing right now. God damn it. And that means I'm Oregonian. Oh my God. And that's why they're starting to be like, no. You people who are fundamentally just the Californians who finally got smart enough to not get to come someplace where people are more neighborly. No, it's not good enough. And so they're pulling away. And and you get to see all the drugged up men out here in the West. And that, I mean, I'm really, so then I started to think, I was listening to Destiny. And it turns out Destiny's on like some kind of medication that's like 30 milligrams a dose. I'm like, that's not small. All I know is that that's not small. That's all I know. Typically about, like, I don't know about these drugs. All I know is that when people talk about milligrams of things are usually smaller. Usually pretty small numbers. Like 30 in the morning, 30 at like night or something. I'm like, the guy talks to a therapist all the time. I'm like, holy crap. Like, I didn't realize how exemplary of kind of the modern man he is in all the worst ways. And that he finds people with he finds somebody like Andrew Tate distasteful, and I'm like, I don't think you get. Then I'm like, no, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter that he doesn't get it. He's just one of the drugged up boy men. One of these tofu men. Drugged up tofu men. And it's sad because, when he puts down somebody, he doesn't really get, like, the future then is Tate's. He's literally just he's had this moment where he's handed the trophy over to Tate. And probably Tate would be like, what the fuck is this? And he goes, oh, it's just some trophy that I have, but I've got to give it to you because nobody wants to be like me. Nobody wants to be on all the drugs to balance their head out. And and I need to talk to my therapist about my wife who sleeps with other men. And yeah. I look weird. I look like me and men who in my generation, we look weird. We're really small, but we have beards. Yeah, it's we have high voices like we're young, but we're not. Just ugh. So I mean, that's just losing, and so now more and more, everything on the left of center is just losing. Isn't that right? Yeah, they're like, yep, 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 yep. Yeah. So yeah, it's all. I'm up real early. I'm up really, really early. I've got things, got a little project I'm going to be working on, and a little like project I got to work on. But there's this part of me I just feel kind of bad, for a cat like that. Just and especially these things where it's like he's people, like it was the same thing with Ethan Klein, and like Ethan Klein putting down Andrew Tate, and that Tristan just nails him, and he's like, bro, you're on drugs that are making your dick go limp. He goes, there's nothing about my life I would never want to be him. And yeah, and it's one of these things that now Destiny's one of these people that he's gotten to an age that it's like, oh God, lucky I'm not that guy.